Hi students, welcome back to our series of videos. I hope you had a really great recess and that you are all safe and rested. Today we will carry on with lesson number 5, which is absolute and relative cell referencing. Once again, let me show you where to find it. Home page on Blackboard, content. We move down to our MS Excel practical tasks. 1, 2, 3, 4 that we've covered, and 1, 2, 3, 4 they are inside there, and we are now doing practical Excel relative and absolute. So one short exercise today. It's an Eskom electricity bill. Let me download the question paper that gives you the instructions. It's just opening. And we can take a brief look at this. If you have a look, when we are finished, it will be an Eskom municipality account. Please, students, be careful of the basic mathematics. It's very easy to become confused with your basic mathematics, which means that your final amount payable is not going to be correct. So the first thing we need to do is F5, E5 to F5 to currency. So I actually think they are referring, let's have a look, let's open the spreadsheet. I'm going to put my questions over here on the left where I can see them, and let's open the starter file for our absolute cell referencing. If you recall from a previous lesson, we have covered this. It is our F4 key. Let me make this a bit bigger so that you can see it. There is our Eskom municipality account. The first thing I want to do is to convert all of this to currency, because we're going to accept the units used. We're going to be working in rands. So format cells, currency, I'm going to use 0 decimal places. Right. The first thing that we would like to do is to calculate the units used. And it's in the questions. They are telling you in the questions what you need to do. And that simply equals the present reading minus the previous reading. Will give you the units used. And there we go, 1013. I may use my fill handle to copy down. There we go. Now the next one I'm going to do incorrectly to show you what happens. If we have a look, if we just take a pause and have a look at our equations, it has added up those two, or it has subtracted those two, those two, those two, and as you have a look, we are moving down the rows, and that is called relative cell referencing. There is a relationship between this and those two, between this and those two, between this and those two. And that is where the relative comes from. There is a relationship. If you use relative cell referencing on the next task, it is not going to work. And let me show you. I'm going to do it the incorrect way. So the units, the service charge equals the units used, if you read the instructions, multiplied by the service charge. So my service charge is sitting in one area there in cell E5. I press enter. The first one works, but now we have a problem. We are still using relative cell referencing, and when I copy down, I get a bit of a mess here. Look at that. That's clearly not correct. That number, I don't think you would like an electricity bill of that number. So what is happening is it is using relative. So it first used comma 35, then it multiplied this by this, this by this. That is not what we want to do. We need to keep the 0.35 standing still. So I'm going to delete that, and we are now going to use our absolute cell referencing, which is our F4 key friend. If you have a laptop and you'll find that your F4 is not working, you can look for a key called function to switch on the F4, or you may type the $ in there by hand. It is going to work. So it would be $E, $5 that you can type in there by hand by using the number 4 shift and the number 4 key. Okay, this one equals the units used multiplied by E5, and I am going to press my E4 key. And if you have a look there carefully, it says $E, $5, which means when I copy down, it is never going to change from E5. It is going to remain absolute at E5. Let us press enter. We will copy down, and now it works. We don't get those massive numbers. The unit cost equals, and if you read the instructions, it is in there. Please read the instructions carefully. The units used multiplied by the unit cost, once again F4, because we would not like our 0.65 to move down, and I can copy down. Okay, moving back to the basic mathematics here. Our VAT is payable on both the service charge and the unit cost. So we need to add these two together first before we calculate VAT. I would like you to watch the equation very carefully. Equals, open bracket, this plus this, close your bracket, which means please do that first. Add the two together first because they are in brackets. We then multiply by our VAT. My multiply sign did not work. Multiply by my VAT. There we go. And I have to press F4 because the VAT is in a single place and it is not moving. So if you look carefully at this equation, you will see I've simply asked it equals add up E6 and F6 first, and then multiply the two of them by our VAT, which is in G5, and then we made a $G, $5, so that it doesn't work. So that it, I beg your pardon, so that it does work. If you don't do that, it doesn't work. There we go. There is our VAT payable. We can finally calculate the final amount payable, which is equals to all three. This plus this plus this. E6, F6, G6. Simple equation of adding up the three of the amounts. And there is our total amount payable. I'm going to copy down. And if we have a look at our question paper, I hope you can see this. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. In my case, I haven't used a double decimal place. I'm not doing the exact exercise for you. But please, when you are completed with the unit, go and check that your amounts match. Mine has rounded up because I've used 0 decimal places. So if we have a look here, 411.70, mine is rounded up to 412. 1165, mine is rounded up there. So basically that is correct. In your case, you will use 2 decimal places. Check your work at the end when you have completed it. And that is, in short, today's lesson. So to quickly recap, oh wait, we need to finish our borders. It is one of the instructions in the question paper. I go to border, I would like outline and inside. I'm going to tell it OK, and there we go, nice and neat. Students, please remember, here we used relative cell referencing because if you can follow my full handle here, or we can go Control tilde. Right, now we can see all our forms. The tilde key, it's Control tilde. The tilde key is on the top left of your keyboard, just below Escape. So you can press Control tilde to show you all of your formulas so that you can actually have a look what is going on. This is relative because it's C6, B6, C6, B7, C8, D8. It is being relative to the cells on the left of it. The service charges, when we use the dollar sign, if you have a look here, the E5 is not changing. So that is no longer relative, it is absolute on the 0.35. This is absolute on the 0.65, and this is absolute on the 0.15. There we go. There is our completed spreadsheet, and that is the end of lesson 5. We will be continuing with lesson 6 on Wednesday. Please attempt the activity, and if you have any problems, feel free to ask us on the WhatsApp group. Thank you and have a great day.